Coming up in today's video, we're going to be talking about WWE and AEW being interested in a new free agent. Looks like we could be headed into a bidding war pretty unexpectedly. Also, an AEW star announcing retirement. And yes, we are going to talk about some departures. It's all coming up right here on the Ango Show. If you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that bell. It is 2026, and we already got some huge wrestling news. That's right, Madison Rayne has announced her retirement from professional wrestling. What a career. So for those who don't know, there was a tag team match with Madison Rayne tag teaming with Deonna Purrazzo. They went up against Billy Starks and Diamante. Obviously, yeah, this was a very big win for Billy Starks. She got the pinfall for Madison Rayne. But in a backstage segment following the loss, she actually confirmed it was her final night as an active wrestler. She has officially revealed that after 20 years, she is officially done being a professional wrestler. Now, if you guys didn't know, Madison Rayne is working backstage for AEW. And she's had a very, very good career. I mean, when you look at her work as a TNA knockout, it was very fascinating to watch in real time. But now the beauty of this for Madison Rayne is she didn't need to hype this up. She didn't need to tease retirement. She didn't need to make a big ordeal out of this. It was a backstage segment, which I thought was a little bit nice because, you know, we're seeing all these retirement tours pop up and these retirement matches, and I just don't think that's always necessary. I think Madison Rayne is such a great competitor, such a great athlete, such a great character. And, you know, whether people want to admit this or not, she is considered a TNA legend. And when she came to AEW, some people didn't realize the magnitude of that signing, but she is seriously an incredible wealth of knowledge. So, yeah, like, this is awesome. Like, of course, it sucks when talent retire, but this is somebody who is going to do very good things for AEW in the long run. And let's be real, there's no necessary reason for her to be competing when the roster is already as big as it is and there's so many other talent to focus on. But of course, working backstage in AEW is a great thing. And that's where I actually really appreciate AEW as well because, you know, they brought her in. She's been doing a lot more backstage stuff. You might see her on TV from time to time, but that's really what mattered. You know, and it's a great way to let her go out. And yeah, she lost. That brings us to our next topic. Ladies and gentlemen, NWA making headlines today, and that is because there's been two departures, which I personally I'm blown away with because NWA is a company that's small. So Colby Corino is a departure, which I thought was very, very, very interesting because Colby Corino, especially when he was doing stuff with Deadlock Pro Wrestling, I feel like people were getting really excited about him. And then there was that time where it was expected that he was going to go to WWE. That was strange. That didn't happen. There was something that popped up there. But then now we find out EC3 is leaving the NWA. And EC3 is a former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he held the belt for over a year. This is a guy that was in multiple stints within WWE NXT. This is also a guy who found a lot of success in TNA. You know, the whole character EC3, I mean, it stemmed from TNA. We cannot forget about that, being Dixie Carter's nephew. But he's revealed that he's leaving the NWA, and nobody really knows what's happening next. But when it comes to Colby Corino and EC3, these are two key players for NWA. And whether we like to admit it or not, NWA is a smaller company, but that was a helping thing for them. That was like an asset for them to have that kind of talent at their disposal when obviously we know there was interest in other places. So for me personally, I'm curious to see what happens here. I think for EC3, it will be very, very, very intriguing to see if maybe there's a career lined up for him back in WWE, or maybe if EC3 goes to TNA. And I've said this before. I think EC3 should go to TNA. I think, I don't know what their relationship is like, but I think if you look at EC3 and you look at TNA, it's like, it just makes a lot of sense. TNA is going live on AMC, new TV deal. EC3 is somebody who has a lot of history with TNA. I think EC3 is a character who has been proven can be a world champion for one of these smaller companies. Whether as a babyface or a heel, I would like to see what they can do with him on that level. Colby Corino, on the other hand, I think he makes sense in any of these companies. And the thing about Colby Corino is, really for both of these guys, they're still relatively young. So the beauty of that is that you're not getting some long-time 25-year veteran in the wrestling business, but you're getting two guys with experience who can also still learn and contribute. So for NWA, I think this is going to hurt a little bit. We'll see how NWA moves forward. We don't really know how they do with departures. Camille left the NWA, but their women's division wasn't really impacted. At one point, NWA had Ricky Starks, and they lost him, and they were able to move on relatively fine. But the NWA is still so small. I think the magnitude of the departures may not be that big. But who knows? You never know. Maybe it will be. But this is where things get really complicated and really interesting because, ladies and gentlemen, there may be a bidding war in place for Colby Corino. Now, I cannot believe this, all right? I couldn't believe this. And it's not anything to do with Colby Corino. It's just the fact that we haven't really uncovered the real reasons as to why Colby Corino didn't actually sign with WWE to begin with a couple years ago when it was rumored that he was going into the company. So Bodyslam.net has come out with a new report that representatives from both WWE and AEW have already asked about the 29-year-old's contract status as he navigates his next career move. So it appears that Colby Corino is testing the market. He's leaving the company. He's a free agent. There's always a chance he could remain with the NWA, but there are talks about him potentially going to AEW or WWE. And listen, I know Colby Corino is a very talented guy, and he's going to do whatever he feels is best for himself. So yes, he's technically still in talks with NWA, but he's a free agent. And if AEW and WWE are interested, I don't see how you could potentially turn that down to remain with NWA. And this is no shot at Billy Corgan. This is no shot at NWA. But I think the reality is, if you're Billy Corgan, you're screwed. You are screwed. You are going to struggle in this particular area. And the reason why you're going to struggle in this particular area is because WWE and AEW have funds that you just simply don't have. And NWA is doing some cool stuff, but if you're on the Roku channel, what is the viewership looking like? We don't even know what the viewership is looking like for NWA Power, but we have a good indication of what the viewership is for AEW and WWE. And these are the two largest companies. So if you're Colby Corino and you know that AEW and WWE are interested, even TNA could be an option, but if you know that WWE and AEW are interested, by default, those two companies are going to win. Now, I think it just makes sense for him to go to WWE. Keep in mind, his father, Steve Corino, also works for WWE. This is going to be something I can't wait to see unfold. I don't know how it's going to be, but I'm excited about it. Wrestling is back, baby. It's 2026. Click subscribe. This is the year we hit 100,000 subscribers.